welcome back. Today we're diving deep into something you may have heard of before, maybe even tried before, brick workouts.
Yeah, brick workouts, they can be a little intimidating.
A little intimidating sounding at first, but I promise
But not just for...
they're not just for serious athletes or triathletes.
Exactly.
Whether you're, just getting started as an endurance athlete or you've been doing this for years, this deep dive should have something in it for everyone.
Absolutely.
We've got some fascinating research and some insights from different sources. And, I think
It might change the way you train.
it might change the way you train.
For sure.
So before we get too far,
Make sure.
let's define what a brick workout is.
Yeah, what is a brick workout? Basically combining two triathlon disciplines.
Back to back.
Back to back.
Minimal rest.
Minimal rest.
Specifically.
Cycling followed by running.
Cycling followed immediately by running.
Right. The goal is to replicate those race conditions. In a triathlon, you bike, and then you have to immediately transition to running. And that's a very unique challenge.
I remember my first brick workout. It felt like my legs were made of bricks.
Yeah.
That's a feeling. I think it's described really well in one of our sources. The Zone 3 source calls it jelly legs.
Jelly legs, yeah. Like a common thing.
Yeah, it's like that feeling of...
that wobbly, unstable.
Yeah, like you can't quite get your legs under you.
Exactly. And there's a physiological reason for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, if you look at the Sundried source, it explains that it's all about the shift in muscle groups and blood flow.
That makes sense.
When you're cycling, you're primarily using your quads.
Right.
But then when you switch to running, you're demanding more from your hamstrings and calves.
So your body's like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Exactly. It needs a moment to adjust.
So the big question is, why? Why would anyone want to do this? What's the point of all this discomfort?
Well, that's where things get interesting.
Okay.
The benefits of brick workouts go way beyond just getting used to that jelly-legged feeling.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
One of the biggest things I've learned from these sources is it's not just for triathletes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cyclists and runners can benefit too.
So what are some of the benefits that apply across different sports?
Well, for starters, it improves muscular endurance.
Yeah.
The Sundried source talks about how this type of training basically forces your legs to work harder for longer.
So they become more resilient.
Exactly. More resilient to fatigue.
So it's kind of like cross-training, but with a focus on building that stamina.
Right, and stamina specifically in those muscles that you need for both cycling and running.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Another benefit is more efficient muscle recruitment.
Okay, how so?
Well, Effective Brick Sessions talks about how brick workouts actually train your body to activate the right muscles at the right time.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's almost like optimizing your body's energy usage.
Exactly.
You're becoming more economical.
Right, and that translates to improved performance overall.
So not just for races, but for longer training sessions.
For sure.
What else?
Well, there's also the obvious benefit of practice to transitions.
Yeah, transitions.
Getting faster in that T2, that bike-to-run transition, can shave off valuable time in a race.
Yeah, and Brick Workout's complete guide really emphasizes that, doesn't it?
Yeah, they talk about
every second counts.
Every second counts, especially in those shorter races.
The more intense races, yeah.
Right. And then we can't forget about the mental toughness aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing through that initial discomfort of starting to run after cycling, it really builds resilience.
Yeah, it's like as much a mental challenge as a physical one.
Totally.
The Ingo eyewear source mentioned how brick workouts can actually help you maintain good running form, even when you're tired.
And speaking of mental challenges, did you know that brick training was always called brook training?
Really? What else did they call it?
Back-to-back training. Back-to-back, according to Effective Brick Sessions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess brick just sounds a little bit more solid.
Yeah, I think so.
So we've talked about what a brick workout is. We've talked about the science behind that jelly legs feeling and some of the benefits. But how do you actually structure these workouts?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's where the real fun begins.
Okay.
Because, as our sources show, there's a surprising amount of variety when it comes to designing a brick workout. The most common type is, of course, the classic bike to run, which Ingo eyewear describes in detail.
Yeah.
But you can also do swim to bike.
Swim to bike.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which can be really good for practicing that T1 transition, getting used to going from water to land.
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about practicing that transition specifically, but it makes sense, especially because Effective Brick Sessions mentioned that many triathletes find T1 to be like their weakest link.
Right.
So it's easy to overlook.
It is.
But yeah, those seconds add up.
They do. And the same source also talks about run-to-bike bricks, which are particularly relevant for duathletes.
Oh, so there's a brick workout for everyone.
Yeah.
It sounds like you can really customize them.
You can.
Based on your needs and what type of race you're training for.
Exactly. And if you're feeling really ambitious, there are even off-order bricks, like Run, Bike, Run.
Run, Bike, Run.
Which Triathlete magazine had some interesting insights on.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It is.
But I can see how it could be beneficial for certain training goals. With all these options, where do you even begin? How do you know where to start?
That's where understanding your fitness level and your goals and the specific demands of your target race distance comes in.
Right, so it's not one size fits all.
No, not at all.
And I love that for our listeners, the learners, there's a brick workout out there for
Yeah.
from beginners to seasoned athletes. Speaking of which, our sources actually had some good examples.
Oh, yeah. What caught your eye?
Well, for anyone just getting started, Brick Workouts Complete Guide had a really nice, manageable indoor brick workout, just 15 minutes on a stationary bike, followed by a 10-minute run.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's just to kind of,
Nice introduction.
yeah, dip your toes in.
Yeah, and then you can gradually increase the duration and intensity as you get more comfortable.
Right, and then the Samosaurus also had some sample workouts tailored to Olympic and sprint distance triathlons. So it's
Yeah,
kind of,
more of a race-specific challenge.
yeah, to help you visualize how to structure a
That's-
brick workout to align with your goals.
Right.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we had that, intense brick workout from Monday Brick, inspired by Sam Laidlow.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about pushing your limits.
That one's definitely for more experienced athletes
Yeah.
looking for a serious challenge.
But yeah, the takeaway is there's a range of brick workouts. You can find one that fits your current level and helps you progress towards your goals.
Exactly.
Now, shifting gears a bit to the practical side of things, what are some essential tips for anyone who wants to give brick workouts a try?
Well, I think preparation is key.
Okay.
It's not just about the physical effort, but also about setting yourself up for success.
I'm all ears.
So first, Brick Workouts Complete Guide emphasizes the importance of creating a designated transition zone, just like you would have in a race.
Okay, so like laying everything out.
Exactly.
Oh, gotta go.
Having everything ready so you can save valuable time, and you can really practice that seamless transition from bike to run.
That makes sense.
And of course, hydration and nutrition are crucial, especially for longer brick workouts.
Yeah, of course.
From Here to Eternity had some great advice on this, including specific recommendations for what to eat and drink before, during, and after your workout.
Right. I liked how they even talked about placing your water bottles and your gels strategically
Yeah.
on your bike in your transition zones.
So you don't have to fumble around for them.
Yeah, when you're tired.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Be
Be
prepared.
prepared.
Avoid that mid-brick bonk.
That's right. Another important tip is to actually practice your transitions themselves.
Okay.
Using brick workouts in triathlon training really stress the importance of getting in and out of your cycling gear quickly and efficiently, as well as getting your running shoes on and adjusted without wasting time.
Yeah, those little things can really add up,
They can,
especially when you're fatigued.
especially when you're fatigued.
It's easy to underestimate
It is
how much those transitions impact.
your overall time.
Yeah. What else should people keep in mind?
Perhaps the most important advice of all comes from triathlons and brick sessions, and it's simply to listen to your body.
Yes, the golden rule of training.
Yes.
It's so easy to get caught up
In pushing yourself.
and pushing yourself. Yeah.
But ultimately, it's about respecting your limits
Yeah.
and making adjustments when needed.
Brick workouts should challenge you, but they shouldn't leave you feeling totally drained or injured. And building up gradually is key. You don't have to jump right into some super long, intense brick workout. Start small, gradually increase the duration, the intensity.
I couldn't agree more. And we've talked about a lot of general advice. I'm curious about your personal experience with brick workouts. Any insights you've gained along the way?
Well, for me, the biggest thing has been learning to embrace the challenge. Brick workouts definitely take you out of your comfort zone, but that's where the growth happens. And it's been really rewarding to see, those improvements in my endurance and my transition times.
That's great to hear. And it's a reminder that brick workouts aren't about punishment. They're about pushing your boundaries and discovering what you're capable of.
Exactly. And one thing that really surprised me was how much those first few minutes of the run dictate the rest of the brick.
Oh, interesting.
Like we talked about earlier, those first few minutes are often the toughest because your body is still adjusting. But I found that if I can push through that initial discomfort and I settle into a good rhythm, the rest of the run feels much more manageable.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like your body finally figures out what's going on and starts to cooperate.
Yeah,
And it reinforces the importance of mental toughness
it does.
in those brick workouts.
Speaking of mental toughness, we did get some really interesting insights from the Reddit threads that we looked at. One athlete mentioned that for people with a strong cycling background, the impact of the brick workout might be less noticeable.
That's interesting.
So it suggests that maybe their legs are already more accustomed to that type of fatigue.
Yeah, from longer rides.
Right, so it highlights the importance of considering your individual starting point when planning your brick workouts.
Absolutely.
And another thread reiterated something we already talked about, that those first 5 to 10 minutes of the run are often the most challenging part of the whole brick.
Yeah, it seems like that initial discomfort is a shared experience
Yeah.
across different levels of athletes.
So to recap, brick workouts are about so much more than just toughing it out.
Yeah, they're a versatile training tool that can help you improve muscular endurance transition speed, mental toughness, overall performance, whether you're a triathlete, cyclist, or a runner.
And the key is to tailor your approach to your individual goals, fitness level, and race distances.
Exactly, with a little planning. And a willingness to push your boundaries. Brick workouts can take your training to the next level.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into brick workouts, I want to leave you with a final thought. Now that you understand the why behind these workouts and you've explored different ways to structure them, what kind of brick are you going to build? What combination of disciplines and durations would best challenge you and help you reach your training goals?
Yeah, that's the question. What kind of brick are you going to build? It's exciting to think about all the possibilities. Maybe you'll start with that classic bike to run, focusing on gradually increasing the distance of your run each time.
Yeah.
Or perhaps you'll try a swim to bike, working on smoothing out that transition.
Right. And remember, it's not just about the physical challenge. Brick workouts can be a fantastic way to build mental toughness too. Pushing through that initial discomfort and finding your rhythm, it can be so empowering,
Absolutely.
both on and off the race course.
Yeah, and as we've emphasized throughout this whole deep dive, brick workouts are a journey, not a destination. It's about continuous improvement, listening to your body, and finding what works best for you.
So embrace the challenge. Have fun experimenting, and don't be afraid to reach out to a coach if you need some guidance. Who knows, you might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of brick workouts. We'll see you next time as we explore another fascinating aspect of endurance sports.